Welcome to this week's episode of Pickles and
Pasta.
with Steph and Jay. There's nothing in particular that's making me laugh right now except for this ridiculously stupid way that I said hi. And I didn't want to retake it, so I just said I just decided to
We're
just,
just going with it.
just
It's
gonna
okay.
go.
It's okay, babe.
Kind of how we roll. Like there's no rehearsal per se. And it's just this is what you get. You get this is real. This is real, kids. Hi, thank you for all of you who are joining in. I think we have one more follower, right, Steph? You said you got a great compliment from like somebody else.
Yeah, she said she's listened to all of them and she loves them. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. We do appreciate it. It's very nice. It's certainly nice to hear. Thank you for being here. We really do appreciate it. It means a lot. It's we're doing this because we're doing this because people told us they thought we should do it, and the stuff that goes on in our day to day lives and the things that we talk about amongst friends and so on could maybe help people. And so that's basically why we started this and why we do it every week. And so if you guys like it, that's really great. And if there's ever anything that you think we should talk about or something you have questions about, you can always message us, and we're happy to hear what you have to say. And no promises, no guarantees that we're going to actually read them or listen to you, but it's nice if you do. And just thought I'd throw that out there. So anything special? We missed today. You were supposed to come back today, and the weather is all
Yeah, the weather was all crazy, so I didn't feel like driving
yeah.
2.5 hours in rain and wind.
Yeah.
So
So how's anything special you since the last 10 minutes ago that I spoke to you that you want to talk about?
no, just I'm looking forward to coming to New York City tomorrow and participating in a National Association of Women Artists exhibition next week that I'm going
Where
to
is
be
it?
part
Where,
of.
where is it again? What's the it's the arts thing in Gramercy. It's the art.
Yeah, in Gramercy Park. It's that
Yeah,
beautiful
it's
old
a beautiful building.
art
Yeah,
club. I'm
yeah,
so excited to go.
yeah. It's really beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm obviously not a member, but I've been into a few events there. It's an elegant. It's one of those beautiful things in New York that you don't get to see all that much. Because you just see like modern and cool stuff, and it's like one of those classic places it's just nice. It's not it's
Yeah, I
nice.
love going into buildings like that in Manhattan. What was
Yeah.
the one we went to on Park Avenue with the tennis courts in it? What was that one
Oh,
called?
it's the tennis. I think it's called the tennis club or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
gorgeous.
that's
Gee,
beautiful.
we were driving by. I'm like, what building's that? And then that's where we
That's
were
that's the
going.
building we're going to. Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty cool. There were the tennis courts, like specific, like special kind of old tennis courts in the top floor. It was
yeah.
so cool.
It's called court tennis. Yeah,
Yeah,
nobody plays that.
there were some people playing.
No, I know, but I mean outside of a place
Oh
like
yeah,
no,
yeah.
nobody's like running to go play court tennis. First time I ever saw them was in England at the All England, not the All England Club, the Queen's Club, which is the tournament before 2 weeks before Wimbledon, which now there's used to be the only grass court tournament before Wimbledon. Now there's a few others, so players can get a little bit of grass court practice. But they had them there at the Queen's Club, and it's just weird from being a tennis player. It's just a weird sport. It's like tennis, but not.
Is
Uh,
it before tennis was invented, or is it like the
really,
precursor?
it's a really good
Yeah.
question. Not up on my tennis history. Sorry. I
Okay.
probably should be. I probably should be, but yeah, no. So anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, that was neat. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the real beauties of this city is like you can have the most modern, cool, super high tech, craziness, and then you can have these like really old but really well kept, elegant places. Yeah, it's beautiful. Actually, I noticed I took the bus earlier and I paid my fare. Thank you very much. Um, and I passed by that library reopened in the neighborhood. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that too.
Looked gorgeous.
Yeah, it looked really nice. I'm so
I mean,
glad. Hopefully they can keep that clean around
it
there.
was it was this building, not far, a couple blocks from us, that just it was like it wasn't abandoned, but it looked like it was just. I didn't ever see anybody working there, right? But it
Yeah.
was like padlocked, under construction, and it just was so sleazy. And it was like this old building that I didn't. I remember it said it was like it was a library, and it was just like so disappointing to see it there. And usually, if something is like that vacant, somebody takes it, right? Like
Yeah.
somebody buys it, they turn it into some thing or another, whatever. And the bus stopped right there, and I looked out, and I was like, "Wait, what the hell is this?" And it just looked so pretty, and I'm so happy to see that. I mean, not that I'm going to a library anytime soon, but I might go just to check it out because it was just so pretty, and it's nice. It's nice when stuff like that comes back. Like it changes like it changed the whole look of that block. Like that block
Yeah.
looks totally different now.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, that was really neat. Yeah, I forgot to mention that too. Anyway, so I think I think it's time to dive in. I know you like to keep me on the clock, but I think we're gonna get to it. So we got some pretty interesting topics this week. I think I'm interested to hear what you have to say about some of
What
these.
I have to say.
I have. Well, I know what I'm going to say. I'm not interested in what I have to say. I can listen to myself all the time. Um, so the first topic, which is an interesting one, and I heard this kind of somewhere, and I thought about it for us. I thought it could kind of be interesting. So the topic is growing with, ahead, or behind your business, and how do you navigate that? And so when I saw this, as a founder myself, and you're a founder and entrepreneurs, or whatever titles we are. As you know, I don't do titles, but you start a business and you have an idea, and you have the skill and you're ready to go. You do whatever the stuff you do, and sometimes you grow with the business, like you as a person are growing as the business is growing, and so they're kind of growing together.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the business, not because of you necessarily, but the market conditions or the world or something, your business isn't growing, but you're growing. And so now there starts to be a little bit of a disconnect that way. And sometimes the business is going so fast that it's growing ahead of you and you're
Oh,
not keeping up.
yeah,
And
that is very
so
interesting.
it's a very interesting thing that happens to a lot more people than people think about or talk about. And I just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit because
Yeah, no, that's great. Because honestly, when you wrote that down, I was like, I don't get that. And now that you explain it, I'm like literally experiencing that, and I have been for
stuff underneath this hair.
years.
There's a little bit of a peanut in there. I'm telling you, it's a good one. But you were
Was I the inspiration?
someone I think about all the time. But you were definitely somebody I thought about with this. Was like, oh, I think this kind of applies here a little bit. And what I think of, I mean, and I really want, I mean, I think not me, but everybody else really wants to hear what you have to say too. I think of when you designed, I can't remember if it was the Allegra bag, or one of the bags you designed. It might have been the Allegra bag, right? And then Celine came out with it like right after, like 6 months later or 3 months later.
Loewe.
Came
Loewe.
out, it was the Allegra bag, right?
No, it was the Elsie bag.
Elsie bag. Okay.
The Elsie bag.
So I remember, and it was like when you were trying to get that done, people were like, well, that's not how it's done. And that's not how you do this. And you were like, congratulations.
Well, let's do it.
You, but this is how I want to do it. And you had this vision. And so you were for sure ahead, but then someone big does it and you don't have the wherewithal to kind of keep up advertising or marketing, or so it becomes this weird sort of thing, right? Like,
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you want me to lead right into that, yeah, that's true. You know, when I decided to make designer bags, I kind of looked at my own bag collection. I was like, I have really fabulous bags. Why don't I make one that is part of Have Some Fun Today? And that's how that whole thing started. And then I was really thinking about it because I didn't really want to do it the way I did the Lex Tote. I wanted to really up level it somehow from the canvas and leather to like a really refined leather designer bag. And it was just, I was going over it and over it. And I knew I needed a rectangular shape to kind of be the canvas for the applique because, you know, the whole point of this brand is to share this message. So, you know, I was going to applique part of the message, which I did. And when I was developing it, you know, the woman that I had worked with previously, who was very knowledgeable, she was like, the reason you don't see that is because it's a very difficult construction to make with the placket, and she was explaining it to me. And so like we engineered this bag, and a couple of years later, after we had actually produced it, I was in Europe, and I remember I was in Rome, and we were going in all the beautiful shops there, and in the Loewe store, they had the same shape bag, and they also appliqued the word love on it. So that was that was a real knockoff.
Yeah.
Like oh my God.
Yeah.
But so that happens, and yeah, Loewe is amazing. I mean, it's a compliment truly to be
Sure.
copied by Loewe, but yeah, but let's just get into that whole thing. I do want to speak to that because, when I founded Have Some Fun Today in 2014, there was nothing like that out there. I mean, there was Life is Good, but, Have Some Fun Today became like the chic version of Life is Good. The designer, the girl who actually cared about fashion. And I grew a lot as a result of creating this brand. I had to teach myself how to do so many things. I mean, I wasn't new to entrepreneurship by any means, but entering into the fashion industry is a whole other ballgame. And, I had to teach myself so many things. And for so long, it was very invigorating, and it was very, very expansive for me to do this. And, then COVID happened. I feel like when COVID happened and like my QVC, I was supposed to go on QVC, and the day before I was scheduled to go on, they shut down their studios. And
I
so,
remember it well.
yeah, that was crazy. And I just feel like after that, there's was kind of like this slow progression of I became out of sync, I think, with the brand because so many people that were not on social media with their brands, the bigger brands, they slowly all got on social media and they ruined it for all the smaller brands. And I think the frustration of having this great brand, but not being able to get it out to people who didn't know about it because of money, that kind of went against what the brand is all about.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of caused me to start to grow more in one direction, and having this brand in the way it was going kind of became a little bit of I don't know, like an anchor.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I was obviously been part of this whole journey. You're constantly growing, right? So you're constantly learning new things and exploring new things, and you know you try to be better at things. You've always been this kind of person that you are, and the brand had that momentum in the beginning because you put everything you had into it, and so the brand comes from nothing. You birthed this brand, and now it's something. But then the brand kind of hit this little place where like it needed something else to take it further, and there wasn't that thing, and then there were too many blocks put in the way that no matter who you are, it's just really hard to do. But you couldn't stop growing, you as a person,
Yeah.
and that's where there becomes a little bit of a disconnect. So then, as you were like, okay, so now it's time for us to do this thing. Well, the brand wasn't there, so
Hmm.
in your mind, yeah, it's time to go do the newer thing and the other, but the brand had to go further to be able to for that to resonate with the audience. And I think that's where it starts to get frustrating. And I think
Yeah.
that's part of an
Yeah.
experience that you've had and that we're working through, you you're working through. I'm just kind of
Well, no, we're working through it together. I mean, obviously, I'm the creative
but
director and all that, but
but yeah, but it's a lot of that kind of stuff. Like figuring, okay, like, so where is the brand now? Where is our audience? Where are our customers? Where's our comfort zone? Because it is a great brand. It is a great message. We want to make sure that this stays around forever. How do we do that in a way that it's positive and does all those things? And I think it's an example. I think there's other companies that go through the same thing. It could be a restaurant, it could be a clothing brand, it could be an architecture firm. Like, could be anything. Like, it could be, and I think this is one thing, that happened. And I've had similar feelings where like I'm way ahead of where things are, but it's not there. The business isn't
Yeah.
there. And
Mhm.
it's tricky because no one wants to no one wants to go backwards, right? Like as a human or a creature, you strive to go forward. We're told that, we're trained that way. It's natural to want to be better tomorrow than you were today. You don't want to wake up tomorrow and be worse. You want to wake up tomorrow and be better. Right? Like, I'm going to be worse tomorrow. Nobody dreams of that when they go to bed at night. So you want to try to be a little better. And if the things around you aren't doing that, it becomes problematic. I mean, you hear about it in personal relationships, but people don't talk about it so much in business, you know, founder or founding team and business. It's similar, right? You hear in a relationship, like where the woman says, well, I'm growing, but my partner isn't. Or the guy is like growing and the woman is just staying, she's in a comfort zone. She doesn't want to grow. She's comfortable. And he's like, no, we got to do it. And she's no, whatever. In business, it happens. I think it happens too. I think
Yeah,
it
that's
does happen.
interesting. Yeah, I guess, and I think about that, Jay. I feel like about every 10 years, I have like this cycle where I shift what I do.
You've said this. It's true.
And,
It's your
you
pattern.
know,
It's a
yeah,
pattern.
there is definitely a pattern. I think I just kind of get bored with certain aspects. And, so maybe it's just a transition. Maybe I just need a transition, but I don't need to completely change what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the things that I've been doing my whole life are art and design, whether it's
Yeah.
interior design or fashion design or
Yeah.
handbag design or whatever it is. So,
Right. Interesting. Yeah. I kind of wanted to share that a little bit because
yeah,
I think again, and it can happen. It happens the other way. Like, I don't think that's happened with us, your business, my business, our businesses. It hasn't happened with us personally, but I've seen it with other businesses and certainly read plenty of stories where a company, starts and it could be a tech company, it could be another company, whatever, and it starts to grow and it goes beyond what the founder did with it. Like, the founder's vision was one thing, but the business is growing and the founder ends up having to get replaced. Like, if they have investors or if they have they get kicked out, like, because not because people are trying to be mean to them, it's that they were great to get it started and they were great leaders at that point, but they don't have what it takes to continue the growth that the business is on. And you
hmm
hear it all the time that CEOs, your founders were fired. I mean, okay, the Steve Jobs thing is different.
hmm
There was politics. There's also other stupid shit about that. But it happens with other companies that are nowhere near as famous, let's say, as Apple. And you hear it. You hear it a lot. And sometimes it's a bad decision because the founder had that something missing, that without that, getting rid of them was not the right play. Shifting their position was the right play, but not everybody does it. No, obviously
yeah,
not everybody
it's
does it
always
the
very
right play.
interesting to hear about all that stuff.
But it's fascinating. I listen. I think it's just fascinating because it only helps you or me or anybody else out there listening. It helps that person in their own world because now they can be conscious of those signs that might be around them. Like, they might not, if we don't say it, and it's not that us per se, but if they don't hear that example, that sign could be right in front of them and they're not ever going to see it.
Yeah.
So
Well, the other thing that I think is interesting too is that, like, in this transition or this shifting, you know, in my growth and kind of dealing with have some fun today and how I want to evolve that, you know, in this whole process, I know there were times early on that I felt like very scared and I wasn't sure how this was going to go and I was nervous about it. I started like really thinking about all the amazing entrepreneurs out there who have had first, companies, second companies, third companies sometimes, and how they took the lessons from those earlier experiences and were able to use them to bolster their success in future endeavors. So, like, I'm not upset about anything. Like, I think it's so awesome that I was able to create this from nothing, have thousands and thousands of people, including like Halle Berry and Reese Withers. I mean, it's been incredible, and so I think it's all good. It's all good to take. all that, be grateful for it, and see where we're going to turn it next. And I think you have to have that attitude.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think, that's what they say, right? Like everything is a lesson. Like it's
Yeah.
not a failure, it's a lesson. So yeah, I think it's great. I think I'm very confident. And I think a lot of stuff we've been talking about is going to be really great. But I think it's just good to be conscious of that stuff, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to move us along a little bit to that. I think we've covered that topic pretty well. I hope that was helpful. Next topic is what we're calling "This Is Living," and it kind of comes to people that work really hard. Like, and we work, we work a decent amount, and you know, people say, "Well, you're not living," right? And I don't think that's true. Like, living for us is doing things differently than maybe it is for somebody else. I know this was a topic that you kind of really liked, so I'm going to kind of let you take the lead a little bit.
Yeah.
There's going for it every day and doing the things that we do. People are like, "Oh, you need to slow down," or "You need to," like, no, but I think people use the word workaholic, the term workaholic, whether it's a word or a term or whatever. And I think there are people that are workaholics. Like there are, and I've seen them. I've met them. It's not a healthy thing, right? I mean, they think it's healthy for them, but it's not a healthy thing. And they just work for work for work for work for work. Then there's people that are doing things, and there's just enjoyment that they're getting from doing things, and they're learning and they're expanding, whatever. And I think there's a big difference between those two things, a very very big difference. And
Yeah.
yeah, so take it away.
Yeah. So when I brought this up to you, it came from a place inside of me where my day to day stuff, I'm very like self motivated. No one's saying, okay, Steph, you have to strategically figure out how you're going to navigate your art, have some fun today, your health, your daughter, like all the things that I am very into being a part of. I want to make incredible art and have these, I want to be able to show my art and, create amazing pieces for people in the world. And, that alone is a huge endeavor. And, with the have some fun today, how do I navigate, keeping the brand alive in a way that works with my changing desire to paint more and to do less work that I was doing prior to this. And so a lot of things are up in the air in a way. Like nothing is nothing is guaranteed. Like everything I'm doing is doing with a count like there's risk involved, like a lot of risk involved. And it's kind of like me deciding I believe in myself. I believe I'm talented. I believe I can do these things. And yet I'm out in the world and there's no guarantees. And it's a little scary out in the world right now financially. But yet I'm going forward and I'm planning out my days with structure around working towards all of these goals that I personally have. And so that's where I'm coming from. And just the other day, I was walking down the street and I was like, mentally thinking about all that I have to do. And no one's telling me to do it. It's all me driving myself towards these kind of nameless goals in a way. And I'm thinking about my dad. And I know this is going to sound a little weird, but I do talk to my dad, at different times in my life when I wish he were like on my shoulder giving me advice. And I'm going to get a little sentimental, I think. I just had this like voice in my head saying, "You're living. You're out there and you're doing the work. And you're putting your energy and yourself into this. And this is what life is about. It's not about, the moments where you're done work and you're just like, watching your show for the night or getting ready for bed, or all the little habits that we do that we don't even think about. Like, yes, you're living in those moments, but I just think that living is really taking everything that you've been given and trying to do something with it.
Yeah, and I think it's also it's not just the success, right? It's not just the
Well, yeah,
accolades.
I may never be successful. Like that may
Well,
never
you are you no, you are successful by doing what you're doing. You are successful. You may not be a billionaire. That doesn't mean you're not
Yeah,
successful.
I
Performance,
agree. Yeah.
create art, it goes out to the universe. You are successful. That's just a fact. You're a successful person. And that again, it's not a, there's no money attached to being successful. So
Correct. Yeah.
so, but people think like, oh, that's living when they're on the yacht or when they're on flying first class or private jets or they're eating at a five-star restaurant. We all do it. We all see people that we know and they're on this vacation or they're eating at this restaurant or they went to that concert or whatever. And yeah, that's living too. But I think kind of where we're coming from is doing the things that we do that maybe don't look so glamorous all the time, that can be a little grungy, can be a little, frustrating, can be a little annoying, like little things. I mean, setting things up to do something, like the little grindy work, that is living. That's feeling. Like you have to feel, right, to you can't grow without feeling, right? Like remember as a kid when you had growing pains and it was so uncomfortable, or when your teeth came in and it's but that's your growth. That's growing is not always smooth, and it's again not an age thing, it's not a money thing. You can grow at 80, right? Like, I mean, didn't we just see that thing about those there's this whole new trend of like these like super senior citizens that are moving into like college campuses
Oh
and
yeah.
they take classes and they walk around campus, and you know obviously there's like other benefits to being in a campus environment, like there's the healthcare, there's different things that they have as perks, like within, as opposed to going to a retirement community where it's just kind of like going like this. They're around, they're growing,
Yeah.
in their
Mhm.
70s 80s and whatever, and that's, I mean, that's so super cool. So that is living. I think living is the good and the bad and the funny and the funky and the all the stuff in between. I think that is living.
It's like recently I saw my dad's memorial card, and his favorite quote was "the man in the arena," and I think that speaks to it. Like it's I'm the man in the arena. We're the when anyone who's out there, grinding to achieve something that they have in their head that they want to try and do. Like that's the person with sweat and grime and they're in it, and to me, like that's just I feel the most alive when I am going after my dreams.
Yeah, I mean, but even as you go through it, right, that it's not necessarily fun all the time, right? Like there's days that it's
No,
really not
it's
fun. Yeah,
freaking hard as shit half the time.
yeah, yeah. But I think you grind through it, right? Like you grind through it
I
because
don't
you
even
see,
think about it honestly half the time. I'm just so used to doing it.
yeah,
I mean, it's really it's I've been uncomfortable countless times, and I totally know whenever I'm really going through a phase where I'm really uncomfortable, I know that I'm growing, and that is a very familiar feeling and awareness to me.
do you find that if you're doing something and it is maybe tricky or uncomfortable, that motivates you more than like deters you? Like if something you're doing and it's going too smoothly, do you feel like, maybe I'm not doing the right, maybe I'm not doing it right?
I think when things go too smoothly, I think we lose focus. It's kind of like comfort, and growth, like they don't kind of go together.
Yeah.
I think I get really motivated when I feel like I'm in danger, whatever that is. Yeah, I think I have a very
Interesting.
deep survival instinct.
Hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I wonder if that's kind of built into our DNA, right? Like like a sink or swim sort of thing. Like,
Yeah, I think it is part of our DNA. And maybe like, even like if you go back into your 23andMe, I don't really go on that very often, but my daughter wanted to connect with me on there. So I saw like they redid, the genetic DNA makeup, and I see that I have something like 6% more Neanderthal DNA than the average person. I was like, what does that even mean?
I'm not going to touch that
So maybe Neanderthals,
for my own safety. I'm not going to touch.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely not going to
I
touch.
have a question for you, Jay. I think it would be interesting to know. What is the thing you say to yourself
How do we get onto?
that makes you continue to go forward, even when you feel knocked down or things aren't going that great? What's the thing that keeps you going forward? I'm just curious.
Just out of nowhere. Just out
No,
of nowhere. You just out of
it's
nowhere.
part
You
of
feel.
this whole topic.
What was the question? What keeps me going when I'm? What,
Like, what is your self motivation? Like for me, I literally am talking to myself as I'm, walking to different appointments or going to do certain things. Like I'm engaged in this, invisible list of things I have to do. So what is the thing that keeps you like doing Village and all the things that you're trying to do?
I mean, the short answer is that's what I'm doing. What I'm meant to do. Like I haven't got. I'm not there yet. Like I do the things that I do because I'm meant to do them. It's not a. It's a choice to a certain extent, but it's not really like all the.
Okay. So you're never like talking to yourself and
I
telling
talk to
yourself
myself all the
something.
time. Like that one doesn't do the other. I mean, I talk to myself all the time, and I talk to you know, never mind who else I talk to, but I talk to myself all the time. And who said that? And but it's I remember playing. When I was playing, it would be like, "Come on, Jay!" Like, but everybody does that, right? Like every athlete does that.
Well,
So
yeah, you do say. I hear you saying certain motivational things.
yeah, I mean, I do it like I'm like, come on, Schweid, like come on, like you're better than that. Like I do that to myself because I know I'm better than some of the stupid shit that I do. Like I just know it. Like when I screw up, I'm like, okay, that's just ridiculous. Like there's just zero excuse for that. So I don't do it for anything other than I'm supposed to be doing the things that I'm doing, and I'm supposed to be at a certain place, or I'm supposed to get to a certain place, and I have to do these things to get there. So it's not a it's not something new, or it's something, oh, I read that thing, or like I heard that thing, or that person told me that thing. Like this is just deep, deep, deep inside me, like all the way
Yeah.
through my
So
veins.
you just like know I'm meant to do this.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. That's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah. I want to be helpful, right? Like I want to help. I want to help people. I want to help the universe. So I have to do these things. It's not like, well, if I do this thing, then that thing will happen. No, like I'm now. Granted, many times I get sidetracked, maybe to an extreme word, but sometimes I'll get in somebody that I think I'm going to help, but it kind of pulls me off course because I'm not losing track. Like it's always there, but this other thing is coming, and so I want to try to help them, and I think that might help though. And sometimes I make those mistakes. Like I make that as a lesson, and so sometimes it'll happen, and I'll learn it faster than maybe I did when I did something similar in the past. So yeah, it's I get these books, and people say, "Oh, you got to read this thing, or you got to watch that seminar," and I'm like, okay, like I don't like, and that sounds so cocky and so arrogant, and it's so not me to say that. But I don't need Tony Robbins to tell me that I've got to do X, Y, or Z. I know what I have to do. And my father used to say that. He was like, you can talk to Jay till you're blue in the face. When Jay's ready, he's ready. That's it. That's it.
Hmm.
There's no moving him. I mean, as I'm not tiny, but I'm not like enormous. I'm not like Shaq. But well, some people have said, "Are you Shaq?" Um, I get that all the time. I don't get that.
Wow.
I do get other people that are way taller than me, but I don't get Shaq. Yeah, it's just I, I'm not movable till I'm movable. But when I am movable, I'm fast as lightning. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's my makeup. I was built this way for a reason.
It's very interesting to hear what motivates very motivated people. You know, what motivates me is mine's more esoteric because these are paintings that are inside my head. So it's not like I have a set thing. I need to go and live life, be very conscious of my feelings and my awareness and my eyes and every little bit of information visually, emotionally, intellectually. All of that somehow gets churned up in my brain and it becomes a painting.
Right.
So it's a very different process.
Well, it's with anything. It's the same with a bag. A bag comes into your mind, or a shirt, or
Yeah, because I'm creating.
it comes into your head. It comes
Yeah,
into your brain through the different things that you're consuming, and then you have to make it happen.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the creative juices inside you. Yeah.
Alrighty then. Moving right along.
I'm glad we covered that part. Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate you asking the question. It's just people ask those things, and I'm like,
I didn't mean to throw you off.
you didn't throw me off. It's just it's interesting because most people have like a very direct answer. They're like, well, I'm doing it because I da 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 da, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's more,
I was truly curious, and
yeah.
I guess I did know that you.
You did know that because we've talked about this, but I
Mhm.
appreciate you bringing it out for the entire universe to know my business now.
Well, that's why we're here.
Okay, then, and on to our next topic. I think is also very interesting, and it really applies to kind of experiences that we have and that we've gone through and whatever. It's about how to build community through activities as opposed to building community on its own. So like people
Hmm.
build communities because they're, you know, whatever, a group of people that like a certain type of film, a certain type of music, or foodies, or whatever. But then there's building a community through actually doing things, like actual things, which could be anything. Like my daughter is into LARP, which is live action role play, and she has built a community. I mean, she has a community. Like there's a legitimate community. Like they're within their own group in the town that they live, and then there's other groups in other places, and sometimes they meet up, and it's legit. Like they have their own real community, and they stay in touch with it. But they're also not just when they do this activity that they do, where they dress up and they do all this really cool, funny stuff. It's fun for them. It's not something I would personally like to do, but it's interesting. But they're like they build a community. Like if when her mom died, they were all there for her. Like they were all supported. They were her community. Like they were
Yeah.
so they built community through that, like through actual activities. They didn't they wouldn't have known these other things, but they learned from each other. And I think it's different than building communities through networking or through business or through other things. I think it's a different I think it's just different. Yeah. So I don't know. I just wanted to kind of get into that, dig
Well, it's
into
like
that.
was that Renaissance fair? I mean, that in a way, I hear people going to it. Like, didn't we get picked up by some guy in New Orleans who was telling us all about?
Yes, that he spent all his money and he was taking on extra shifts doing Lyft driving because he had to pay for the trip that he just took. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of people go. I think it's fascinating. I've never been, so
But
interesting.
there's other communities, right? Like there's like you started, doing art classes now and teaching art classes, which is super, super cool. And I know your dad is smiling watching you do this. But that has the potential to become a community of these different women or men.
I believe it does. I mean, just I've just done two, and I can't even get over the response to both of them,
Yeah.
and especially the most recent one because there were even more people at that one, and hearing people talk about it, and honestly, like the energy that was happening in that space was so beautiful and
Yeah.
so vibrant. I mean, talk about a high. I mean, that was so fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have plans for that.
Yeah. I think it's a great thing because it's just, you're obviously teaching them something. So that's the activity. but then there's a connection between all of you by being in that room and being in that space. There's a connection between them and you, and this becomes a community. Like these women may go to art events together, or they may do other things together. Or they who knows what they're going to do, but it's building this community that can just grow. You had, what is it, 4 people the first time, 6 last time? Was it one,
Mm-hmm.
2, 3,
Yeah.
4? So one person couldn't come at the end, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there
Mm-hmm.
were 5 at the last one. There were 4 at the one before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 5 or 6 are coming to the next one, right? Something like that.
We see. I mean, the sign up is open as of now. It'll close on the 13th.
Yeah.
But
So I think there's like 4 or 5. There's a few signed up already, and then whatever the number is going to
we
be.
have like 4 signed up so far.
Yeah. So then, but ultimately, there's a whole group of people that did this series of these 3 things,
Yeah.
and that is the beginning of a community, right? So it's very easy for them to all stay in touch. We can create a little group for them, and we can kind of stay in touch with them as well. And then there'll be others, right, that you'll do, and then you'll do one, some maybe at the beginning of the year, you'll do some, you'll do whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows where that goes? And then maybe there's where you all go away someplace for a weekend, and the people from all the different groups are the ones who get together, and this community starts to grow where someone may learn something about some art, way to do something new, some new color, some new palette, some new paint, some new canvas that they may share. Now you've got this community thing going. Now you've got different people helping each other, all because of what you're doing as the community leader, which is beautiful, which is part of your journey and your mission in general to help people. But I think it's interesting because people are, we've learned, I mean, then there's good and unfortunately bad to this, but we've learned through COVID and going through all of that and the lockdowns of this incredible, desire and feeling of connection. Like we have to have connection. We have to have real connection, touching, not in a bad way, like being around humans, each other. And so there's a striving for that. But when people are just striving, they just go to whatever. And that's not necessarily beneficial. But I think when you look at how you can do activities together, whatever those activities, it could be playing basketball, right? It could be anything. It could be bird watching. But doing an actual activity where there's a little bit of physicality to it, I think the lasting effect is tremendous, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was talking to my therapist this morning about the art workshops I did. She actually wants to do one. But there's something about, and it's not about an age. However, what I have noticed is there is something about being a little bit older where you're not, in the mommy, like young children stage. You're kind of taking a look back at yourself and who am I now? And you're trying to discover who you are again a lot of times in this age range. And a lot of people want to investigate that and learn more and maybe see if, little things that they were always kind of interested in when it gets like when I'm offering these classes, for example, people are like, oh, I'd like to try that. Mm-hmm. And then when you come and, one of my philosophies, and it has been this way for over 20 years, because I used to volunteer in the kids' art room in school, because I could never stand how an art teacher would basically tell any child who wasn't perfectly coloring in the lines, they would tell them that they, weren't a good artist. And so these adults, I would meet so many people who were like, oh, I'm a terrible artist. I would hear that all the time. And I thought, that is so fucked up. So when I had the opportunity, I purposely wanted to go in that art room and be the one saying, oh, no, this is great. Encourage coloring outside the lines, So I think that is that's kind of my purpose. Yeah. It's fun. We are going to have fun. And we had so much fun. And when you're having fun, I don't care how old you are. And then the thing that you're making actually looks really cool. Like everybody made something really cool. And they weren't artists. Some of them were, but most of them weren't. And so I think there's something about having fun. And that is a really beautiful way to build community. Yeah. People want to be there because it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, it's true. The work was really good, but it was just great watching how interested they were in your process, how you pick color, how you made certain decisions. They were really eager to learn, and yeah, it's just lovely. It's lovely seeing it. It's lovely watching that happen. But I think if you would just be doing a talk on art, that would be fine, but big deal. The fact, like, no, we're going to paint. Like, we actually do something together. You're going to learn a skill. You're going to learn something. And you were very supportive. You were very, like, you were complimentary, but you were giving guidance. And I mean, that's just a priceless thing for them. But it's an activity. It's the activity that's building the
Yeah.
community, I think. And I think, again, some of those people would just may become friends on their own, which they wouldn't ever meet if it wouldn't be for
Oh
them.
yeah, I know that many of them exchanged numbers,
Yeah,
and which was so beautiful.
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So
It's very cool. Yeah. So look, I think it's first of all for you and for anybody else out there. I mean, I think it's a good thing to think about. Like, if someone has something that if they want to build a community, or if they're feeling they want that, they should think of activities that they're good at. Because anybody has something, and they could teach whatever that may be.
yeah,
And
true.
I think it's a great way to have connection, and I think it's a great way to kind of grow and meet people outside of your normal circles, and that there's something common. You have something in common. Obviously, you're
Yeah.
in this community, so yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. I think for people to pay attention to what you're doing, I think they could learn for themselves. And of course, if they want to take the art class, they can take the art class, which is cool too. But even beside that, they can just watch what you're doing, and maybe that can help them in some way, which would be really
Yeah.
neat. Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody who wants to do my art workshops, I'm doing 3 in the spring, and I'll be doing 3 in the summer, and then who knows what I'll be doing. But
1-800 call Steph. 800 call Steph. Um, what if somebody actually does that and they call somebody like, "Where's Steph? What have you done to Steph? I know this is her number. I heard it on the podcast.
I
I
want to see
saw it
what.
on the internet.
Yeah,
I heard that. I heard that yesterday from
I
somebody.
heard that today from somebody, but
Somebody posted something that was not. It was just there was two guys that I know were talking to somebody who's an idiot and trying to have a conversation with this person, and he literally said, he's like, they were like, "Where did you hear that?" He's like, "I saw it on social media," and they were like, "What?" Like, I said, "What are you talking about? Like, what's on social media? It's got to be true." Like,
crazy.
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyway, well, there's always tomorrow. All right, then. I good. Are we good? Did you?
Yeah, we're good. Let's go
Did
do
I
our
miss
rapid fire.
wait, you can't. Oh, all right. If you want to lead us into rapid fire, you have to say. Then you have to do something funky like I do, because there's a way that we lead into rapid fire. You
Yeah,
can do
that's
it.
what you lead into rapid
I mean,
fire.
I
We
always do
lead
it.
into rapid fire.
You can do
This
it.
is right now. We're going to do rapid fire.
Do
All
you
right,
want
I'm
me,
going to ask you first.
do you want me to do it, or we didn't do it? Did you do it?
Do it, Jay.
When you don't do that, do it like you used to do. I love that.
Sorry we didn't rehearse this. I didn't know I
No,
was.
you used to say that. Remember, we used to say that.
Yeah.
Do it. I love that. I love it.
Okay. I didn't know I was supposed to say that.
No,
So
you're not supposed to say anything. You could just be yourself. That's what I love about you. I don't
that's
know
what I'm
what
doing right
I
now. I'm being
don't
myself.
know. I don't know what's coming next, and I think that keeps me on my toes.
Maybe that could be.
Yeah. All right. I think it's that time again for rapid fire. All right. Well, hopefully the real sound effects will come in, and you guys will know what time it really
That
is.
would be helpful because I don't know if they do.
They do. I do.
Okay.
They do. You listen to these podcasts. You know they do.
No, I
Oh,
listened
no.
to them
You
before
listen to them before they're edited, right? You listen. Yes.
because we have gotten in trouble.
So I've listened to them post edit, like live ones, and there's a
Oh, okay.
very cool sound that our lovely producer, who's going to remain unnamed because he likes to be anonymous.
He doesn't want to be associated with us.
He doesn't want to be associated with us. I don't blame him. I don't want to be associated. All right. Do you want to go first, or do I want to go? Should I go first? Who's going first? Who's on first?
Who's
Me?
on second?
No. What's on second? All right. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
Name a food you like in one form, but not another.
What comes to mind is tofu.
Tofu comes in more than one form.
Well, yeah, if it's fried and really crispy and with like a good, Vietnamese or Thai dish, I like it, but I would never eat it.
Straight.
No.
Okay. I was thinking more extreme differences, but okay, I'll give you that. Okay.
That's the only thing I could think of. So.
No problem. How do you prefer to learn? In a class or group, one on one, like as a tutor or teacher, one on one, or by yourself, like learning online or by manual or by reading a book or whatever.
Well, I like all three.
Okay.
And I would say obviously the best one would be one-on-one.
Okay. Okay. I know I've seen you do all three, so
Yeah, I like all three.
but one on one
I
is your
like to
favorite.
learn.
Hey, I put an apple on your desk before your last class.
Because now I'm a teacher.
That's right.
I have to
Uh,
get some black glasses and
okay. Uh, and a ruler? Are you going to get one of those rulers?
I'll
Um,
get a fly swatter.
you have fly swatter. I, you love your fly swatter. Guys, if you don't know, if you have a fly in your house, that's one
I
eight
will
hundred
do
call
it. I will
Steph.
do it for you.
It's 1-800 call Steph, and she will swat your fly, and no one does it better. Um,
Oh my god, that sounds hilarious.
um, okay, last rapid fire question for you. What animal do you wish you could have a conversation with?
Where these questions come from, I do not know. Okay. What animal do I
I
wish
thought
I...
I knew exactly what you were going to say to this one.
No, this is the weirdest question.
I know it's amazing.
This is one of those questions I actually don't like,
I love it.
but
Come
I
on.
will answer it.
I appreciate it.
I think it would be because I'm facing the French windows that are all glass out this house, and I'm seeing this little squirrel running around. Wouldn't it be hilarious if he like hopped up on that black little stool and he just started talking to me?
And you'd want to have a conversation with the squirrel, like
I think,
ask him, like,
I
what's up
think
with
it'd
the
be,
nuts? Like,
I think
ask.
it'd be kind of hilarious. Yeah,
Okay. So you're going with squirrel.
I'm going with the squirrel that's running around out here.
I thought for sure you were going to go penguin.
Aw, that was such a cute movie.
I know. That's why I thought you were going to go penguin.
No, I didn't even think
one of
about
the main
that.
reasons. That's one of the main reasons I threw this one in.
Let's tell everybody, if you guys see this movie on Netflix called Penguin Lesson, The Penguin Lesson, watch it.
It's called the Penguin Lesson or Lessons from a Penguin. Lessons for Penguin or something like that.
Something like that.
Something to do with
Either way,
penguins. Yeah.
that was such a watch it. It's really good.
And it's
It's
based on a true
hilarious.
story.
We were laughing our asses off. It was so beautiful.
It was really good.
Okay, I'm going to ask you now.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay. I think I'm ready.
Name a food you like in one form but not another.
Chocolate. I like chocolate. I like chocolate as chocolate. Chocolate cake, I don't particularly like. Brownies, not a huge fan. Chocolate, I can have chocolate every single day of the week.
Okay.
In chocolate form.
I get that. I get that. I don't really like
chocolate sauce.
I'm
So
not
I'm
a cake
going to
person.
throw in what our producer said when we were reviewing these,
Okay.
just because I think this is I just have to throw this in there. I think the world needs to hear what his response was.
What?
He said when we said name a food, he said, I like pizza.
Oh,
I don't like pizza milkshakes. The hell's a pizza milkshake? Who's ever seen a pizza milkshake? And I just thought that was adorable, which adds to his adorability. So I just wanted to share that. Still remaining nameless, but that's the producer that we've got.
it's a mystery.
He
Okay,
does
so
not want pizza milkshakes.
number 2.
Number 2.
How do you prefer to learn in a class, group, one-on-one, or by yourself, online or manual?
So Definitely not in a class. Um, Clearly, says the kid who tried to get out of first grade. One on one is great with a great teacher, which is rare.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
really
Well, that's
is
a
not.
given.
And so learning like by myself, like by doing something or by reading something, whatever is probably there. But if I had the choice, like I can get you the teacher, I can get you the person who's going to get you, who's going to teach you one on one, show you, work with you. That would definitely be my first choice.
Okay, good to know. Okay, last one. What animal do you wish you could have a conversation with?
I mean,
The penguin.
is this really a question for me?
Oh, an elephant.
I've had conversations with elephants in the past, and they're brilliant. But yeah, I would so have a conversation with it. But I would have a conversation. I thought about this about like, wait, you got to come up with only one thing, and clearly elephant is that's obvious. But I find animals to be fascinating in general. Their connection to the planet much more so than we have as humans. So yeah, I could think of tons, like an eagle or something, a bird that flies and sees things. You know, it's just, oh, I mean, I would love to talk to the animals. Maybe that's my future, Dr. Schweidlittle.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
didn't really look at that question in that way because I don't,
it's just, but because what they're
yeah.
going
It's a good
through,
way of looking at it. That's a brilliant way of looking at it. Of
yeah.
course,
So it's,
I
yeah. I
never
mean,
really thought about talking animals.
nobody tells birds to go south in the winter. Nobody tells them.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe their DNA does.
they just never.
All right, we. This is a now we're running over.
No, we're not running over. There's no time limit. We do what we want. We have no rules. Um, well, that was fun.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Are you good?
Hmm.
Good. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap, boys and girls. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And yeah, have a great week. And thanks you again for being here. Bye.
Bye.